it's hard. It's hard to, and it's not reliving because it's always with me. It's just, sometimes I bring it more into the focus and sometimes I let it sit back and rest a little bit. So when I choose to be outspoken about victims issues and survivor issues and, the impact of media or law enforcement, I just have to kind of bring it back up and be like, okay, today's the day. I got to psych myself out. There's a bigger message here, a bigger purpose. And then I need to figure out a way to self-care and go back to taking care of myself and my son and my family. And, but I can't not do it, because there is such a tremendous need. And, because our family's case was so high profile, I feel, an intense need to just keep talking about things because there's a platform and not every family gets that. And that's horrible. And so, our case, our loss isn't any greater than anybody else's because it was on television. But if we have the platform, it's an opportunity for us to try to bring things to the light that don't often get to be there.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess what's the hardest thing about that, and I mean, obviously you and I don't know one another, but I was a police officer for 25 years and just retired, and been a part of numerous homicide cases and testifying and things like that. And there's people who I have 100% felt were guilty of the accused crime and were found not guilty. And obviously with this one, with your brother, this thing being on the platform it was, what's so difficult, and for any of the listeners, whether you think OJ did it or not, again, it goes back to taking away from the victims, your brother and Nicole, because there were people that were just celebrating, cheering in the streets that he was not guilty. But if he's not, if he's in fact not the person that did it, not saying he's not guilty, if he's in fact not the person that did it, you still have two victims that there's no justice for. And that just got completely lost in we keep using the word, the media circuit. It just got lost in the media circus and the people that, just were enthralled with it.
But thank you for saying that. To that point though, when we talk about the difference between media then versus now, there's a whole new generation of viewers and listeners, that know about the case and study the case and have opinions now about the case, who also now have access to me and our family and other victims, that have no tact necessarily when
100%.
sharing their
100%. No, 100%.
So it is now to this point, like, okay, well, you can think that he didn't do it, but my brother was still stabbed to death and I'm still without a family member. So you can think he didn't do it, but why do you hate me so much? Like, why? I get tons of hate mail.
Yep.
And why? I still have a loss. Just because I believe someone did it that you don't doesn't take away from the loss and what my brother and Nicole endured that night. And that's the part that is really hard for me to reconcile. It's sort of this, my feeling is people are desensitized a little bit because we have so much crime and trauma that it is really hard to remind yourself that there is a person attached to the story. And, lives are lost and there's grief.
Hey, Sean, have you noticed I've had more energy during this podcast?
You have today. You sleep better last night?
No. I didn't. I have. We've got some good stuff that we're having. I've been drinking this Magic Mind. You have it in the morning with your caffeine. I don't drink coffee because
you're a tea drinker.
I am. I'll drink some tea in the morning. I might as well be British the way I like the tea.
You do like a good tea.
I don't put milk in it, but I like a good tea. But this stuff's helping me, man. It's making me more focused. It's giving me more energy. And it's making me a little bit happier.
No, it is. The folks out at Magic Mind sent that out to us early this week, and I've had it the last couple of days. I'm not. Was it matcha? Is that the pronunciation? Matcha. I'm not a matcha tea guy generally. I am a coffee guy in the morning. That's it. I'm not one of these all day guys. I rarely drink an energy drink, but I've been giving this a try, and first of all, it actually tastes good. I was very surprised. It's like a natural herbal thing. It is green. But I think it's fantastic, man. It tastes great.
Well, I was with you the first time I had it. I was like, it's 2 ounces. I'll see what yeah, it's good. It came down. I think it's the honey. It's got a little bit of sugar. I've been on this new diet too, so it's really helpful. It's 15 calories, Man, this stuff is a pep in your step.
And where can people find Magic Mind?
They can get it online.
They can. If you go to magicmind.com, you sign up for the subscription. Kim, I hope you're taking notes here. You sign up
Yes.
from the
I am. I
subscription.
actually, that's what
Write
I'm
it
doing on
down.
my computer. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good answer. You can get with a subscription like 40% off, and I think there's a 20% off like one-time deal. Use the code STICKS.
That's you.
That's
20.
me. STICKS20. STICKS20.
20, yeah.
So
Try
give
it
it a
out.
shot, man. Honestly, it's good.
It
really
is a shot. It's 2 ounces.
Yeah,
That's
it's a little shot. So
It's
it's kind of take it one in the morning, let it replace your all that caffeine you might get from
Hey.
coffee, and help yourself out.
Kim, it may help with some stress resilience too.
It is. Hey,
Please.
literally,
It says
listen,
it relaxes
it
you.
says
there,
on
so
it
we
here,
got that.
gives you energy. Second line.
Excellent.
Helps you relax.
Aptogens is
So
what it has.
keeps you focused and makes you happy.
Very good. I need that.
What more could you ask for? Well, yeah, and kind of just following up on that thought. I mean, nowadays, when you've got an open case where somebody hasn't been charged, and just like you're referring to these, couch sleuths or whatever it is, the people, whether they think they're doing good by their stuff, but they come up with a lot of wild conspiracy theories, and they really do, and it's shared on, Reddit or internet or their YouTube channels or whatever it is, and so I'm telling you, as a police officer, it oftentimes can interfere with the case, with what's really going on, or, where the case is really going, because these people at home who have never interviewed a real person in their life,
are
just
talking shit.
Literally, that's it. They spur things off. I mean, we see it in all, gosh, you see it in politics, you see it in people criticizing law enforcement and so forth. But yeah,
And then
it's
you end
horrible
up
in these
chasing
cases.
leads. And you end up chasing leads that may or may not pan out to anything, as opposed to the ones that are actually legitimate, because you are in a situation that you can't leave any stone unturned.
Right.
And so if you have all of these people out there throwing shit against the wall, you have to see what sticks and what doesn't, but you have to handle every piece of shit. And so, I worry about that. I mean, we haven't talked about it much, but with my podcast, that's part of why I wanted to do it, is to really kind of share with people the ins and outs of this, the stuff that they don't really understand, the impact of some of those, web sleuths and conspiracy theories and all that stuff that really can kind of derail, the legal and the investigative process.
One of the things that we like to do on this podcast is we like to humanize everybody, right? Everybody's got a story to tell. The big thing that I see with you is 22 years old. I've got a couple of daughters. He's got a daughter. They were about your age when this happened. So I immediately empathize with that. The big thing that I'm seeing from you that I'm curious about is, how did you develop stress resilience? Because you were under a tremendous amount of stress, and it sounds like you're still under stress from this thing that happened dang near 3 decades ago.
I thank you for asking that. That doesn't usually get discussed. I didn't handle it very well in the beginning. I remember vividly the day that my dad pinned me down and forced me to take a Valium, because I was completely out of my mind and I wasn't sleeping and I was a hot mess. I'm already a fairly petite person, and I lost a tremendous amount of weight, and it wasn't because I wasn't eating. I just couldn't keep anything on. I wasn't sleeping. My dad and I both have not slept well since that day. It's just, body doesn't let me relax completely. But I turned to, I had a wonderful therapist early on, but support groups were not entirely available at the time, because our case was so public that there was no place I could go to have some anonymity and privacy. And so I didn't feel safe. So I retreated, I isolated, surrounded myself with just a handful of people that I trusted. And it was a little bit later, once all of the trials ended, that I really started to kind of embrace my healing and my mourning a little bit. And that just included therapy and journaling and writing. I come from a life of psychology. And so I used some of the skills I learned in therapy growing up, but I was a psych major at the time. So those things came in handy. And then to be honest with you, I separated myself a little bit so that I could get my footing back, and then really tried to realign myself with what was important to me. And then I struggle every day. Every day, it's a conscious effort to take a deep breath, to put myself first, to get some sunshine on my face, to take a deep breath, to exercise, whatever it is. But every day I have to choose to stay balanced and then I give myself permission to just fall apart also, and let that be part of the process.
Well, the media really doesn't have many boundaries. I mean, they'll get up in your business. Everybody else will get up in your business. Like you said, the way that I kind of equate what you went through is it's like watching an MMA fight. You know, everybody's interested. Everybody wants to watch the fight. I want to see him get hit and swings, and I'll see him break down and all that stuff. But they're not the people actually in there taking the punches. So it's real easy to be a spectator on this. Why do you think
Well,
people?
go ahead. Sorry.
Why do you think people find this so goddamn fascinating?
I I hate to say because I think of who he was is the killer. I think I did not understand him to be a celebrity type. I wasn't into football then. I wasn't living in Los Angeles. I grew up in Chicago, so I had no idea who he was. His football and fame wise. And I don't know if it was because it was the first time it was actually a case like that was televised. I mean, before that, I think the first case was probably the Menendez brothers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But that really didn't anywhere come close to where our case did. So I don't know. I don't know if it was a beautiful blonde woman and and a
Hey,
handsome brother.
you,
Like I don't know. I mean, I'm still completely. This is not just U.S. either. This was international. We were getting mail from people in the Netherlands and South Africa, Europe, Italy. I mean, so far reaching. And I don't know. And it still is that way. I don't know. I'm fascinated by it.
well, two things. First, mail is a thing that used to come in a box that we would get from people, and it would come to you. That's one. The other thing is your brother was beautiful. I sit next
Oh,
to a very ugly man every day, and your brother was much better looking than this guy.
thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
thank
It's
you.
funny you say that about mail. We used to get mail sent to our house, Goldman family, Agora, California. That's it. No
No
zip
shit.
code because there was no ability to search the internet to know what zip codes were. So it
Yep.
just got put in the mail, and I don't know how in the heck it came to us. I have no idea, but I vividly remember mail. Just that's it. There was no other identifying. So
How much mail
thank you,
did you get?
USPS. Oh my gosh, buckets and buckets of mail, and we read through every single piece.
Really?
Um, I remember vividly when the civil case started. We were opening mail. We finally at that point had a PO box. There was a piece of mail that came, and it was from a young, I don't know, 9-10 year old who had so sweet. They put $1 in
Oh,
the in the envelope with a letter, and they said, "I'm supporting you, and we're behind your family here. Hope this helps." And it just in the face of so much hate that we had received, it was stuff like that that really just reminded us that we were doing the right thing, that we had truth on our side, and that people were connecting with our focus, and that they loved my brother in a way that I was just really fortunate to be able to share.